Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 85 of Sooner Girl Sports Pod. Have another great guest coming on the show for you today in our volleyball player, Elise Hani. But before we get there, let's thank our show sponsors and get to the Sooner headlines of the week and lots of fun announcements coming up. The show is sponsored by Marvin's Place, a fine art gallery and listening room located in the Depot District in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Come experience amazing artwork, and on Friday nights, visit the listening room, an intimate and unplugged venue. We host singer and songwriters on Friday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Relax with a glass of wine or craft beer and enjoy some wonderful music. You can find out more, including links to their social media, music calendar, and all of the artwork and jewelry available at the gallery on their website at marvinsplace.gallery. Also, thank you to Therapy to Go in Ardmore, the funnest place in town to drive through for a drink, and you don't even have to get out of your car. They have a large variety of spirits as well as fountain drinks and snacks, and you can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy to Go Ardmore. Also, thank you to Hogan's Jiffy Lube, just next door to Therapy to Go in Ardmore, your one-stop shop. Full service oil change, filters, and tires for your vehicles. So stop by any of those amazing sponsors. Tell them that Larissa from Sooner Girl Sports Pod sent you. Okay, exciting news as we gear up for football season, which is only 9 days away on the day that this episode drops. So very excited about football season that's coming. I have just spoken with Dr. Jason Linen, who has been on the show mainly last fall, but a little sprinkled in during the spring as well. But he will be joining us, coming back to the show for the injury segment on the podcast this fall as needed to discuss injuries that we have that pop up during football season. So I'm so excited to welcome Dr. Jason back to the show. And unfortunately, if we're going to have injuries, we might as well get educated and learn a lot about them while we are talking about it. So Dr. Jason will be joining us as needed for injury segments on the podcast during football season for sure. So I'm very excited about that. Also, on that subject of injuries, a couple things I want to mention. There's not a lot to talk about yet, but I will bring up the Jaron Kanak injury with Jason on our first injury segment coming up here in a couple weeks. But Jaron Kanak unfortunately tore his pectoral muscle in preseason. He had surgery last week. He was making jokes on Instagram about it, about having a, quote, successful boob job. So leave it to Jaron to have a sense of humor in a very unfortunate situation. I truly hate that for him. He was signed with the Tennessee Titans, but unfortunately will be out for the season with that pectoral muscle. I don't know that pectoral muscles are much that we've talked about, especially with Dr. Jason in the past on the injury segment. So we'll be sure and hit on that in the coming weeks. But also want to update you on Jake Michaela. Again, I don't have a ton of information on this, but we did find out this past week that his injury is not season ending, which is fantastic news. He does have a sprained MCL, which is the medial collateral ligament. We have talked about knees significantly on several different episodes with Dr. Jason last fall. So if you are a longtime listener, you are probably familiar with a lot of that. But it is expected that Jake will be out of action for 4 to 6 weeks from this past Saturday. So actually a week and a half ago when this episode drops. So he's almost 2 weeks into that countdown. And so on the calendar, that puts him on schedule to be healthy enough to play against Texas on October 10th, possibly even for Georgia on September 26th. That could be pushing it. But luckily, this was something that happened before the season started. So we got the timetable going in our favor a little bit there. And obviously, huge news that it's not season ending, not anything more serious on that knee for Jake Michaela. If he were to heal ahead of schedule, there could be an outside chance he's able to return for our road test against Michigan, which would put him at about 4 weeks out. But that's to be determined in the weeks to come. So I'll be sure and keep you posted on that. This past week, I was busy on the road. I was in Stillwater last week on Thursday night for Bedlam soccer game to watch the Sooners win that game. Also, I was at the soccer home game this past Sunday to watch them win over Colorado College. A record-breaking start to the season for our soccer girls. I will talk more about that on the Sooner headlines of the week here shortly. But I'm taking a break this week and resting up to gear up for football season, which will be here next week. And football season is very busy for our household. As you know, my husband is a Polk and OSU grad, so he has season tickets in Stillwater. And then I, of course, in Norman. We go together when we can, as long as our schedules allow. But you will find him in Norman on many more occasions than you will find me in Stillwater. That is for sure. But football season, very busy time for us, but we're looking forward to it. So taking a break, not going to be out at any events this coming week, but I can't wait to see you all at the Palace on September 4th. If you're going to be there, I'll be there in section 48, Southwest corner. I will probably be around the party at the Palace before the game. I would love to see you there. So let me know if you will be around. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Taylor Maples that I had on the show last month, and to our former baseball player, Dane Acker. If you follow me on social media at Sooner Girl Pod, be sure and go give me a follow if you don't already. But Taylor and I, on our episode, we talked about him being able to call the no-hitter from Dane Acker at Globe Life back in 2020, right before COVID hit. Well, Dane, when I posted the clip on Instagram, I tagged him in it. He saw that. He reached out to Taylor and he sent us both autographed balls that were used in that game. And he wrote on them and wrote no hitter, wrote the date, signed his name. It was just super awesome. A sweet, nice thing for him to do, to send us a piece of history. So thank you so much, Dane Acker, for that awesome souvenir for myself and for Taylor Maples. And I met up with Taylor last weekend when I was in Oklahoma City, and he gave me that. So just super thankful to Dane for taking the time to do that for us. It was just so, so sweet. And again, shout out to my friend Taylor Maples. If you missed his episode from July, go back and give it a listen. It was a great one. But just super kind, those two guys, both of them. And I really appreciate it. I have it sitting over in my Bedlam room, my OU and OSU for my husband memorabilia. It's just a super special thing. And so I really appreciate them doing that. Okay, again, just a reminder, 9 days to kick off when this episode drops as we're gearing up for football season. And on that note, in case you missed it, our head ball coach, Brent Venables, has agreed to a 6-year contract that averages $10.5 million a year. It adds 2 years to the current deal and goes through 2031. And so that just goes to show the belief and the faith that the university has in Coach Venables as we go forward this fall. Of course, we all believe and are behind Coach Venables. And so looking forward to a great football season to add to his resume. And again, just a reminder, football does kick off on Friday, September the 4th at 7 p.m. at the Palace. Friday Night Lights, can't beat that for sure. I will be there again, section 48. So I'd love to say hello. If you're going to be there and you see me, be sure you holler at me real loud. Sometimes I'm oblivious when I'm walking through the crowds. I promise I'm not being rude on purpose, but I would love to say hello to you if you see me out and about at the Palace. Okay, on to men's basketball. The Sooners landed Villanova transfer center Duke Brennan. This past week, he averaged 12.4 points and 10.3 rebounds per game last season, a major addition for the Sooners at center. So very excited about that. Also on the basketball front, our women's team has announced they will be attending the Champions Class against Michigan on December the 5th at Barclays Center in New York City. Also, they will be joined by Maryland and UConn as well. So pretty cool to see the Sooners on the big stage. Also, shout out to our Sooner grad Ignacio Yockers in Spain this past weekend as he finished 5th in the European Championships on his pommel horse final. Super proud of Ignacio on his performance in those championships. Also, a little insider information. I found out that the baseball team, our national championship team, is getting their rings during the football game on October 17th. And they're also getting to visit the White House in early October. So lots of fun things are on deck for our baseball guys as they gear back up for school. Waiting for their fall baseball schedule to come out. The fall softball schedule came out just today on Monday as I'm recording this. Hopefully we'll be getting a fall baseball schedule soon as well so we can get out and support the guys. But make sure if you want to see them get their rings, they will be getting those at the football game on October 17th. On to softball. Again, the softball fall schedule did come out as I'm recording this today on Monday, August the 24th. All games are general admission. Tickets are $10 a piece. You can get those on Soonersports.com. There's also a fall pass for all 8 games for $70. So you'll save a little bit of money there if you can make it to all the games. But the games start on Wednesday, September 30th and run through Wednesday, November the 4th. Amber Flores, former Sooner, and her Seminole State crew are coming to town on October 30th. And there's several battle series on slate, as well as a couple of other visits from East Texas A&M and USAO. And so you'll want to mark your calendars, check social media to get all those dates and get out and get a preview of our Sooners on the diamond. Also, shout out to our head softball coach, Patty Gasso, for being announced that she will be inducted into the Oklahoma Women's Hall of Fame later this year. So congratulations to her. Obviously, much deserved. Also, shout out to former Sooner Abby Dayton for signing with the new Professional Softball League expansion team in Knoxville, the Knoxville Miracle. She was just assigned to them this past week. She joins them after playing for the Florida Vibe this past summer. So looking forward to seeing Abby continue her professional softball career in Knoxville next summer. Also, just a reminder, the All-Star Cup is still going on with the AUSL. Our girl Tiare has hit a grand slam. Boone is stealing bases. Sam Landry is pitching gems. All kinds of fun stuff going on. So make sure you're following on social media. OU Softball, of course. I'm sharing the content as well at Sooner Girl Pod and those AUSL teams. So you can see our former Sooners doing great things on the diamond in the AUSL. Okay, on to soccer. Our girls are finally ranked as the new rankings came out this week. Number 22. It's insane that we have outscored our opponents 19-0 in 4 games as we start off the season. We have not been ranked prior until the release today. So super excited to see that the girls are ranked. They set a program record for consecutive shutouts to start a season. Also, Kayla Kiefer is just the second Sooner in OU history with multiple hat tricks. Bedlam recap again last Thursday in Stillwater, a 2-0 win. Incredible game by the girls, continuing on their fantastic start to the season. This past Sunday, a 6-0 win against Colorado College. Also, just a reminder, OU plays its final non-conference home game this coming Thursday, the 27th at 7 p.m. against Tulsa. It will also be streamed on SEC Network Plus for those who cannot be in attendance. But remember, free admission to all soccer games at home. So get out and support our girls. Also, they will be playing at Tulsa on Sunday, August the 30th. So if you are a Sooner in Tulsa or nearby, want to get out and support our girls, you can head on over to the University of Tulsa on Sunday the 30th and cheer on our girls. I just had the best time getting out to support our soccer girls this past week. I snagged a photo with my girl, Allie Lasnell, who was on the show earlier this year. So if you missed that episode, you're a soccer fan, be sure and go back and check it out. She's just the sweetest girl. I got to meet her parents who were in town this past weekend as well. I posted a photo again on social media at Sooner Girl Pod with Allie, and she sent me the sweetest photo that the media team had snapped when we were hugging after the Bedlam win. And I just thought that was so sweet. So I really appreciate her. Allie is a big supporter of the podcast, especially since she's been a guest. She's helped connect me with this week's guest, Elise Hani, who's her roommate, and a couple others. So I really appreciate all the support from the girls. And I love, obviously, returning the favor. And so if you get a chance, get out and support our soccer girls this season. Again, free admission for our home games. Check out their schedule and get out and support the girls. Volleyball season is here, and I am so excited. It's one of my new favorite sports to watch. They start their season this week on the road at Texas State in San Marcos on Friday the 28th, and also they will play Louisiana at San Marcos on Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. It will be streamed on the Pac-12 YouTube channel in case you want to check that out. Their home game slate starts with the Big Ten SEC Challenge at McCaslin Fieldhouse in Norman next week on Thursday, September the 3rd, as they host Ohio State at 7 p.m. Also, we'll be hosting Washington, which is Elise Hani's alma mater, on Friday, September the 4th at 2 p.m. That will be a great chance for you to get out and support the volleyball girls. You can get tickets to those. They're super cheap. They're about $10 a piece. And you can check out the volleyball girls on your way to the football game that Friday. So I hope that you will make plans to do that. Also, congrats to former Sooner Luis Alvarez on winning the doubles title and advancing to the singles final of the ITF 25K East Lansing. Shout out to him, and also our former tennis player, Julia Garcia Ruiz, who was on the show earlier this year, also won the doubles title at the W15 Iograno. So congratulations to those Sooners for those accomplishments. Also, don't forget, we have lots of club sports. We have women's hockey, women's flag football, rugby, women's wrestling. So make sure you give me a follow on Instagram and Twitter/X. That's where you will find a lot of this information that I share in my Facebook and Instagram stories and on my X account. Women's flag football, I have been talking to their new head coach, Anthony Jackson. I'm going to be hosting him onto the show later this fall before they start their season, which is actually in the spring. I do believe I spoke incorrectly in the past and said they were playing this fall. I am wrong. They will be playing in the spring. And I will be hosting Coach Anthony Jackson on an episode later this fall. But also, reminder, men's and women's hockey schedules are both out. Women's rugby schedule is out. If you want to get out and support all of our Sooners, Bedlam Hockey, this one to be noted in Stillwater, outdoors Boom Pickin' Stadium on Saturday, January the 30th. Mark your calendars for that one. More details to come. Okay, on to our Sooner MVPs of the week. Again, shout out to Patty Gasso for being announced that she will be inducted to the Oklahoma Women's Hall of Fame. Also, our women's soccer team finally ranked number 22 this week, and also as they outscored their opponents 19-0 in 4 games as they start the season. Also, shout out former Sooner tennis players Luis Alvarez and Julia Garcia Ruiz for their wins this past weekend across the globe. On to this week's Sooner Fun Fact of the Week. The Oklahoma Sooners women's volleyball program started as an official varsity sport in 1974. Fun historical fact is that one of their most stunning upsets happened against Texas in 2014 when unranked OU swept a dominant Texas team on their home court, ending a massive 34-match home winning streak. So anytime we do the horns down and have a great win over Texas is something to celebrate and remember. Okay, next up on the show, just a reminder, my September schedule is coming out in a few days, so make sure you're following me at Sooner Girl Pod on all platforms so you don't miss it when it comes out. But we have Coach Jenny Bronchek coming up in September, a football preview with Sooner Scoops Parker Thune, former football player, Super Bowl champion Gino Grissom, also former softball player Kirsten Deal, Roughneck Lil Sis, Sydney Tatum, former basketball player Liz Scott, and our discus thrower Kennedy Clark, as well as many others coming up on the show. You won't want to miss these great shows I have coming up. Also, I have OU Texas Week events in the works. I am working on a Run the Game Ball to Dallas episode with the Naval ROTC program, as well as hoping to put together a group to cheer on the crew as they run through Southern Oklahoma the week before OU Texas, as well as I will be attending again the Red River Bash in Marietta. So if you're going to be heading down to OU Texas the day before on that Friday, make sure you make plans to stop and see me in Marietta for the Red River Bash that Friday. I believe it's from like 9:30 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. So I hope you'll make plans to be there. More details and all of that to come soon. So again, make sure you're following me on social media so you don't miss anything, and I will be sure and update you on the show as well. Another perk of following me on social media is that as I record with people, I will post on my social media, especially in my stories, on my Twitter, Blue Sky, Substack, Threads. I will post who I'm recording with, so you get a sneak peek a lot of times before it's ever announced even on the show. Also, sometimes I make mistakes and accidentally upload the episodes a day early, in which case I announce that on social media as well. So if you ever want to make sure you're not missing anything, make sure you're following me on socials and make sure you are subscribed to my Substack newsletter for free, SoonerGirlSportsPod.substack.com. The playbook, my monthly newsletter, will be coming out in the next few days, so make sure you're signed up for that. Also, if you are on the Discord community or interested in being a part of the Discord community, please join my link. You can find that in my link in bio, my link tree on all social media, and also in the show notes. So you can find my link tree, my Discord, link to purchase merch, link to my Substack, all the things in the show notes, as well as my link in bio on all social media. But I cannot thank you enough to everyone who supports, follows, shares, invites, purchases merch, all the things. It truly means more than you know. If you want this super cool shirt on Wednesdays We Talk Sports, that's my tagline. You can snag it, as well as other fantastic merch. I have hats, koozies, stickers, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, tank tops, all the things. I hope that you'll go check that out. Soonergirl.bigcartel.com. Again, ladies, the huddle. I'm hosting my online huddle this evening as I'm recording this on Monday, the 24th, but you don't want to miss out on our private chat as well as our monthly online huddles. I also do giveaway. You get a discount on merch. We do fun meetups and all kinds of things. So if you're interested in that, you can find out more at my link in bio in the show notes. And also check out my Substack for only $5 a month. If you're interested in sponsoring or advertising on the show, you can email me at SoonerGirlSportsPod@gmail.com. Okay, on to my intro with our sweet guest this week, our volleyball player, Elise Hani. She's originally from Kirkland, Washington. She spent 4 seasons and graduated from the University of Washington. She's now currently getting a master's in English education from OU and playing her 5th year of eligibility as the middle blocker and opposite for our volleyball team. She fell fell in love with Norman and the OU athletic community on her visit while she was in the transfer portal. She talks a little bit more about that in our conversation, as well as what got her attention and what drew her to our community. Her favorite memory so far being a Sooner is just moving here in January, getting to know her teammates and starting their season together. So I'm looking forward to lots of memories for Elise this season on the volleyball court with her crew. You can find Elise on TikTok and Instagram at elise.hani. Again, I'll link all of that in the show notes. I'll be tagging her on social media throughout the week. So I hope you'll go give her a follow, get out and support our Sooners. I got to meet Elise in person when I was at the first Boomer with the Pride of Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago, and she is just the sweetest thing. And I cannot thank her enough for giving me part of her time. I'm looking forward to seeing her in the Big Ten SEC Challenge just next week. So I hope that you'll join me at McCaslin Fieldhouse and support our volleyball girls. On next week's episode, we'll be gearing up for football season with our football preview with Parker Thune from Sooner Scoop. So I'm looking forward to that one. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy my episode with Elise Hani. Get ready for football season. It's almost here, and I'll see you next Wednesday where we talk sports. Well, thank you so much for giving me part of your time. And I'm very excited to hear about your journey to Norman. I know you haven't been in Norman too long, so you have a lot of Sooner memories to come in the next year or so. So tell me a little bit about how did you get involved playing volleyball? I know you're from Washington. And so tell me a little bit about how you got playing and then how you ended up at your first university and just a little bit about your volleyball journey thus far.
Yeah. I had played basketball first. Basketball was my big sport. That I think I started in kindergarten, maybe a little bit older than that. And I loved basketball. I wanted to do everything basketball related. Yeah. I really wanted nothing to do with volleyball at first. My parents forced me to try it. And they put me in Boys and Girls Club in 5th grade, and I was just like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. I don't like it. I want to focus on basketball. And then it just came really naturally to me because the one part of basketball that was hard as a really tall, skinny kid was getting beat up all the time. That just wasn't clicking for me as I got older. And volleyball didn't have that. It was a little bit more finesse and creative and just no contact. And so I think it started to come to me a lot quicker maybe than basketball did. And so a couple years after that, I ended up switching my focus. I was playing club basketball. I'd played, kind of dabbled in club volleyball. And then it kind of came down to I don't think our schedule is going to be able to do both. And I didn't really want to keep playing club basketball. So I switched. And I switched when I was 13. I played a year up on really a glorified rec league team. And we'd go to these tournaments and we would play against the club that I ended up finishing with. And I was like, I want to play for them. They always were really good. Their coaches are good, all of that stuff. I want to try out and play for them. So did that 14's year, made the B team, had a lot of room to grow. I'd never played a position before. We were doing 6 rotations all the way around before that. So I didn't even know what that was. And my club, 14's, was the first year that they started designating positions. Before that, they kept everybody the same to basically make more well-rounded athletes. And so then 15's year, tried out again, made the A team and kind of stayed there. And we would go to travel tournaments, and I didn't even know anything about college sports at all. It had never occurred to me. I had never thought about college. I was basically a freshman in high school. I had no clue what was going on.
Yeah.
I got a business card at a tournament in Spokane, which is on the other side of the state of Washington from where I'm from. And my club coach handed it to me, and he was like, hey, just got this. It's a really exciting time. I expect to see a lot more about you specifically. And I was like, what?
I love that.
I didn't know anything about that at all. And so really the first time I ever thought about playing in college was when I received interest from a college, which is very uncommon. And I don't think that would really work in today's day and age with recruiting and stuff like that. And so I was also the first year of the new June 15th rule with recruiting, where you can't contact college coaches before June 15th going into your junior year. And so I went from talking to schools and doing all this stuff to getting phone calls from them being like, hey, the NCAA just initiated this. You won't hear from us for a couple months, but super interested in you. And I was like, what? Because once I just had no concept.
That's so crazy.
And my parents are both very active people, but like they didn't play organized sports even in high school, let alone really in college. And so we were all kind of just like, okay, we'll hold on and see what happens.
Yeah.
So then June 15th rolled around, got a lot of interest, was very fortunate to kind of go through that experience. And I think also because I was the first year, coaches didn't really know how to manipulate the system yet. So like, I know in
Yes.
years past that, kids are getting phone calls at like midnight on
Oh my gosh.
June 15th and stuff like that, and they have to stay up and like they're committed by 8 a.m. the next
Wow.
morning. Like,
Oh
it's
my word.
still crazy. The rule didn't do really what it was supposed to do, which was protect kids who have no
Right.
clue what they're
Doesn't sound
doing.
like it. Oh my gosh.
But I didn't experience that, thank goodness. I think I got a
Yeah.
couple of initial emails maybe that seemed kind of automated, but nothing crazy.
Right.
And so went through June and July, going into August, was getting recruited mostly on the West Coast, and some of the bigger schools that I was talking to, unfortunately, because of COVID, Washington was one of the most shut down states in the country. And so we
Right.
really weren't allowed
Yes.
to do anything. We weren't practicing,
Oh my
none of that.
goodness.
So I didn't have any like recent film to give coaches. And so like I lost a few opportunities because of that.
Yeah. Oh man.
It was one of those things where it's like, we like you, but we need to know more about you. We know that you can't give us anything else, and we have these other girls who can, so
Oh
like you can wait,
gosh.
but
How frustrating.
I wouldn't if I were you. And so
Yeah.
ended up, I just remember having like an epitome about Washington where it was just like, I want to compete at a really high level. And
Yeah.
they had kind of just come off of a Final Four run. They won the Pac-12 championship the year before I got there. And so I knew that out of all of my offers and my options, like that was where I could really compete at
That's
the highest.
awesome.
That was my big kind of, at the time, Power 5 offer.
Yeah.
I had grown up kind of going to UW games, like we'd been season ticket holders kind of once I started playing volleyball. And so
Uh-huh.
I think that's one of the best ways you can see how a coach is versus what, how they talk to you on the
Yes.
field and all of that stuff is like watch the
Yes.
match and see how they talk to their athletes. And when things go wrong, like what's their body language like? How's their tone? Like, how are they speaking?
Yes.
Support staff, all of that stuff. And so I felt really comfortable with that staff, having watched them organically for a long time without them even knowing I was there. And
Yes. Yes.
I had gone to their camps for years with my friends and like all of that stuff. And so just felt like a really secure decision. But I remember the only thing that was like keeping me from feeling really confident about it was 15 minutes away from where I'm from. So
Yeah.
I had always envisioned going out of state. I wanted to experience something new. I'm not like a huge homebody person. I've
Yeah.
always been relatively independent and kind of doing my own thing. And so I didn't want to go to college with my parents in my backyard. But
Right. I don't blame you.
yeah, but they were so awesome because they knew that about me and like had
Yes.
obviously watched me grown up and be that way. And so like they were very clear that like whatever boundaries you want to set, like you come home whenever you want to.
Good.
We're
That's
not gonna like
awesome.
be all over you all the time. And they really followed through with that. Like I
That's
lived
incredible.
two entirely separate lives of like college versus home.
Yeah.
I didn't go home a ton, which like I'm sure they probably would have liked me to come home more often. But I was just
Probably, but
comfortable. Like I was in my
yeah,
space. I was with my people.
that's
I just kind of
great.
started to build a life, across the lake from,
Yeah.
where I'm from. And so settled there. And I did experience a coaching change after my freshman year. So I committed to Keegan Cook, who's now the head coach at Minnesota.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I think part of the reason he took that job was because Minnesota was in the Big Ten, and Big Ten's a really big deal for volleyball
Yes.
conference-wise. And the Pac-12
Yes.
was kind of dwindling. They'd been big and then kind of dipped.
Yes.
And then obviously Washington ended up joining the Big Ten
Yes.
shortly after he took that offer. And so it was kind of a full circle moment where it was like, well, now, competing in one really awesome conference for 2 years and then finishing for 2 years in the Big Ten was really cool, and seeing how much they pour into volleyball and the
That's
resources
cool.
that they
That's really cool.
delegate to what could be classified as a non-revenue sport was really special.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I love that your parents respected your boundaries because
Yes.
I know that that is definitely a struggle
Yes.
for a lot of college kids, but you getting to create your own life,
Mhm.
that's what they raised you to do.
Right.
And so
Exactly.
they allowed you to do that. And so that's incredible. And then, yeah, it sounds like you had amazing experience playing volleyball up there. And so I'm fairly new to the volleyball world.
Mhm. Yeah.
I've been doing my podcast for about a year and a half, and I went to my very first volleyball match last year.
Mhm.
And actually I went to two different ones, and I immediately became somewhat enamored with it, I guess. So I had Lydia Martin. She was at Liberty. She came to OU for a year, and now she plays for the Indy Ignite. So I had her on last summer. And so after talking to her, I was like, oh my gosh, it was so exciting. And I just thought I've really got to learn more about volleyball. And then I had on Sydney Thompson around December. But and now you getting to connect with you girls, I love having someone to watch. And so that helps me have someone to attach myself to and root for. And that has helped me want to learn more about volleyball as well. But it's such a fun sport. I actually brought a friend with me last year who is a fairly new sports fan. She's kind of always watched football, but not really anything else. And so when we became friends, she was like, I really want to learn about other sports and you go to everything. I want to go with you. So I've taken her to several different events. And but anyway, all that to say, I know, like you said, volleyball being a non-revenue sport, it often gets overlooked. And again, that's one thing I like to focus on women. I like to focus on those sports that often get overlooked and remind people, Sooner fans, hey, there are athletes that need our support. And you being from Washington, you don't have any family here. We need to come and cheer you on so that you have someone there. And just in general, like Sooner fans, get out and support all the sports because I think, the tickets are very cheap to go to volleyball. And you guys are there for the taking, and it is so fun to watch. I'm here to attest.
Yep. No, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm very excited now that you're in Norman, like I said, to have someone else to watch since Lydia and now Sydney have graduated. But I just love watching you girls, and I'm so excited for the season. So let's talk about that now that you are in Norman. I know you moved here in January. Okay, so well, you went from you're used to cold weather in Washington.
Absolutely.
So it's a little different cold weather in Oklahoma. And now you're not used to this heat, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's been a bit of a culture shock for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, I am born and raised in Oklahoma. I graduated from OU. I've been here my whole life, but I actually live in my hometown. So I'm about an hour and a half or so from Norman. So I'm kind of in the backyard, but not really.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm born and raised here, and I'm still not used to the heat or the tornadoes.
Yeah.
So exactly. I don't expect anyone to ever adapt to that because I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I've been here my whole life, and I'm still not used to it. It almost kills me every tornado season and summer.
Yep.
But I'm very much looking forward to the season. I know, if I remember correctly, I don't think the full schedule is out yet. The SEC conference schedule is out. Which I have on my calendar. I'm going to make it to a couple. And then also, you guys are hosting the first SEC Big Ten Challenge in September. When I saw that, I immediately put it on my calendar. So I am planning to come to that because, first of all, that's like a clash of your two worlds.
Yeah.
So how crazy is that? But I think that's just a great opportunity. And I hope the SEC is able to promote volleyball like some of the other conferences are. And I'm not super familiar with if they do or not, so I'm not bashing them at all. But I think this is a great opportunity for OU fans, for SEC fans to really see, hey, we have great volleyball here, and they're competing against these Big Ten teams. And so I'm really going to push on my podcast and my social media to get people out, especially for that couple of days event. And I know they moved the football game that same week to the Friday. And I believe the volleyball's Thursday, Friday, and then football's Friday night. So I'm hoping the times kind of coincide there to get, that will be an extra incentive to get people over there because it's right there next to the football stadium. So I'm really hoping that the timing works out on that. But tell me a little bit about, since you've been in Norman, what are some things that stick out to you, with what made you click in Norman? I know you said that you fell in love with the community when you visited, and I hear that a lot from so many people about being drawn to the campus being beautiful, of course, and everyone being friendly and the coaching staffs and everything. But what specifically made you go, I like Norman, I want to be here?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of pieces that kind of played into it. I knew going into the portal, I was looking for pretty much the polar opposite of what I experienced in undergrad, just for something new. So,
for sure,
obviously Washington being in a big city like Seattle, I grew to kind of resent that a little bit. I'm more of a slower pace, smaller community, more tight-knit kind of person. And the fans of Washington are awesome, but the people of Seattle have so much to choose from because they have football with the Seahawks, they have baseball with the Mariners, NHL and the Women's League both have teams. There's the Storm, they're working on an NBA team. Like, there's just so much to choose from, whereas I feel like here it's like it's us and the Thunder, really.
Yeah,
And
you're
so
exactly right.
yeah, it's just like exactly what I was looking for in that sense of like I want to be kind of in the focal point of the community and I want to feel
Yes.
involved and like I can kind of like dig my fingers into that a little bit. And I knew that coming in that like Norman and OU would be that way. And
Yeah.
Amani Bush was my teammate for 3 years at Washington
Yes.
as well.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, and so she like texted me almost immediately after season ended and was like, "Hey, just so you know, like I think that this might be a really good fit for you if you're interested." And
That's so cool.
fortunately, like Aaron and his staff reached out to me really quickly when I put my name in, and so
Oh,
from the get-go,
nice.
like that was on my radar and was a school that I was taking very seriously just because I knew they had the small town vibe. The SEC is really cool and like was
Yes.
one of the conferences I hadn't experienced yet
Yes.
and also is really premier for volleyball as well. Like I would say they're pretty much neck and neck with the Big Ten now. It didn't always
Good
used
to
to be that
know.
way, but yeah, the
Okay.
SEC is booming. They have teams like
Very good.
Kentucky and A&M that are, in the Final Four and stuff like that. And
Yes.
so
Okay.
we're kind of looking to jump on that wavelength a little bit, I think, and like
Yes.
definitely going through a rebuilding year with our roster, but there's so many new faces that are just so eager to
Yes.
represent OU well, and that means a lot to all of us. And so I think that makes us a really exciting team to watch, and everybody loves an underdog too. So I don't think like
Absolutely.
any big, teams or voices out there have us really on their radar, but we're just quietly kind of behind the scenes working and grinding to
Good.
get some of those upsets and really go after people's. That'll be really exciting. And I knew also that coming in, like I didn't necessarily need somewhere super established. I would
Mhm.
say Washington might be more of that just because they had won the national championship in 2005. And so in volleyball, because it's a booming sport, any program that
Yes.
has a national championship under their belt kind of tends to ride that wave a little
For
bit.
sure. Yes.
And I wasn't really looking to repeat that. Kind of wanted to establish your own legacy, that kind of deal.
Yes.
And then also Aaron had recruited me when he was the head coach at Loyola Marymount in California.
Okay. Yes.
Um,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, and so I knew his name, and then also his brother Jason, who's now the head coach at Kansas State, was my assistant coach my freshman year at Washington.
My
So like,
gosh, how cool.
yeah, I
Okay.
knew I knew the last name Mansfield meant a lot, and I knew that that was a high character person that I could trust, which I think in Division One athletics in general, like that's pretty rare to come by. Like I know I've
Yes.
had a lot of club teammates or girls that I've met and just stuff like that. Like that's not always their experience, and like to
Yes.
find a good coach that's a high integrity individual that I can trust, that's vetted, all of that stuff
Absolutely.
was a really big deal to me because with a fifth year, like it can be something that you can kind of just toss away or it can be something really meaningful. And for me, I was looking for
Yes.
something meaningful. So
I love
it was one
that.
of those things where like this was a pretty low risk choice for me because it was someone that I was pretty familiar with and just, like I said, very well vetted and kind of my
Yeah.
people. And so then when I came on my visit, just everything that I'd kind of expected was met and then it was also exceeded. Like I
Love
had
it.
never seen pictures of campus or any of that kind of stuff. And like
Uh-huh.
it honestly reminded me a lot of Washington with all of the red brick and the collegiate Gothic
Yes.
architecture and stuff.
Yes.
It's just beautiful. And then knowing that I would have the community of Norman, the small town,
Yes.
things like Campus Corner and just like all of that just so geared towards college students and like being at this age and time in our lives. And
Yes.
I think being in a big city really showed me that like that's more important, I think, than people
For
think. Like some
sure.
people thrive in the big city life and more power to them. I'm just not
Right.
really one of those people.
I'm
Um,
not either.
exactly. And like also having access to somewhere, like OKC where you can, if you need to, you still have
Yes.
all of that stuff
Absolutely.
and you don't have to live in the middle of nowhere to really get that. You
Yes.
can get the best of both worlds. So
Absolutely.
it just kind of tied everything that I was looking for together. And then like obviously from a grad program standpoint, I'm an education major. So like getting my master's degree, the caliber of it wasn't like,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't looking for another Washington where it's like, in the top whatever of public universities, yada, yada. Like I just wanted
Yeah.
to have a really good experience, get my piece of paper, play a lot of really good volleyball, and call it a
Yes.
day. And so OU really just kind of tied all that together.
I love
And
that.
just like honestly going through the academic standpoint too, like the program that I'm in and the education building in general is also another small community that's really fun to be a part of.
Yes.
And a lot of the girls and guys that are in my program are all like established teachers as well for
Oh, cool.
5+
Yeah.
years. And so like they
Yeah.
are where I want to be
Oh,
someday.
how
So it's really
neat.
cool to
Yes.
talk to them as well. And like those are kind of like, I didn't know what to expect from that standpoint. And then on my visit, and then having been here since January, it was just like, this just keeps trending upwards in a really good
That's
direction. So,
fantastic.
yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm glad that you didn't get here and be like, what am I doing in
Yeah,
Oklahoma?
no, not at all.
I love Seattle. I've visited there a couple times, but yeah, I'm not a city girl at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Norman. It's like my second home. And so I agree on all of those points with you. I will say that Oklahoma City has come a long way since I was in college. I graduated from OU in '03.
Mm-hmm.
So you were not born yet, I'm sure. But I mean, I've always loved Oklahoma City because it's like my second home, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's come so far in the last 20 years for sure. But it has so much to offer. Like you said, the Thunder and OU sports, when the Thunder came, everyone just latched onto them. And
Yeah.
that's what we do here in Oklahoma. We love our sports. So I think that that was a good point that you made about coming here and having that community to rally around you because people love their OU sports for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool that you mentioned, I'd forgotten where Imani Bush had come from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool that you have that tie. And now I believe she's with Lydia
She is,
in
yeah.
Indy. So, oh my gosh, that's super cool. I kind of followed them a little
Yeah.
bit this season. And I know that they had played a couple times in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time they played, I didn't do a very good job at watching their schedule, apparently, because I didn't even realize it till like the day before. And I was so mad at myself. I would have loved to have gone. And then the second time they came back, we were out of town. And because Lydia
Mm-hmm.
was like, we're going to come back. And I'm like, yeah, I already saw, but I'm going to be on vacation.
I'm out.
So I have to be better at watching their schedules next season, especially since there's that Dallas team.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it's cool to see volleyball becoming a little more prevalent in the South
Mm-hmm.
because I know so many people focus on football, obviously,
Yeah.
even basketball, especially with the Thunder in Oklahoma. But I think just seeing these other sports like soccer starting to make a run, like
Totally.
Oklahoma City's getting a team, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So I love seeing soccer and volleyball and other sports just getting that attention that
Mm-hmm.
they need to get because you guys put in so much work and time and effort and all the things and you often get overlooked and you don't
Mm-hmm.
get that recognition. And I don't like that. I like to play whatever small part I can to get people to show up and cheer for you guys.
We love
So,
it.
and I'm also thankful for technology. I always tell people I understand, like, I don't live in Norman. It's, you have to plan and try to make plans to get there. And so I get you can't always be there, but there's social media.
Yeah.
A lot of times now everything is on SEC Plus or something online.
Absolutely.
So you can watch, follow along, or just, you know, do something to support. And so I have my volleyball shirt on.
I love it. I love it. I saw that.
I have a shirt for, I think, every sport. I just love just any small part that I can play to get out and support you guys and be there and watch my Sooners. Because if you're wearing Oklahoma on your chest, I'm supporting you.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, what are you looking forward to this season? I know we've talked about the SEC Big Ten
Mm-hmm.
clash, which obviously is super cool. And I can't even remember who you guys are playing in that. I want to say Ohio State. I don't know.
Ohio State, and then we also play Washington, actually. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was one of the first games that I found out about.
Wow.
I found out from a combination of people hearing stuff here, and then also my teammates at Washington were like, I think we play you guys in preseason. So,
that is, my gosh. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to have to tune into that one for sure
yes,
because
absolutely should.
How cool is that for you? Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's going to be very exciting, obviously. And then, like you said, SEC volleyball has a lot of great teams of high caliber that you guys will be facing on the road and at McCaslin. So again, I'm going to remind everybody to get their hind ends out to McCaslin and watch you guys.
Yes.
And yes, like I said, tuning in when you're on the road and watching online or following or whatever. And I can't think where all you guys go throughout the season, but is there anything that sticks out to you on the schedule that you know of that you're looking forward to? I can't wait to get to this place or play this team.
Yeah, totally. I think we host a lot of really awesome home matches this year. So one of the biggest ones is going to be Texas at home. That one's like obviously no secret. Like Texas is a crazy competitive program, and then obviously being our big rival. So exactly, big horns down. So
horns
we're
down,
super
baby.
excited about that. Like not having to go to Austin and all that stuff, getting to play them here is awesome. And the girls talking about the match that they had last season against UT was like they had them on the ropes. Like they were right there, and kind of left that
Yes.
one on the table and could have gone a different way. And
Yes.
so this year is kind of one
Yes.
of those revenge tour things that we're really looking to nab them. I know we play Florida
Absolutely.
at home. That's another super competitive program.
Yes.
Well historied in winning, and anytime you get to play someone like that in general, let alone play them at home, is a really special
For
opportunity.
sure. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and another game to watch is, Kentucky coming off of a national semifinal last year,
Yes.
returning a really good core group of girls. Like, that's gonna be really fun to play them. I played them at Washington also in preseason last
Okay.
fall, and, I'm not sure if we played them in Lexington or in Norman, but either way, like, that'll be a really fun game to watch.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I know the team last year went back and forth with Auburn quite a bit, and they're kind of on that
Yes.
same in that same boat of, like, a
Yes.
relative underdog, not really. They breached the rankings and are kind of like a bubble team a little bit, and
Okay.
I know we want to get them back a little bit for last year. Like, we had a couple of
Yes.
games against them that I
Yeah.
think should have gone our way that we let slip, and the new girls coming in, the freshmen returning, like, those are some big teams on our radar. And then I know
Awesome.
for preseason, obviously Ohio State and Washington at home are going to be huge. Those are really big
Yes.
teams as well for us in terms of making the tournament. Wins like that are priceless, especially in the beginning of the season. When you're
Absolutely.
kind of solidifying who you want to be in December, you got to figure that out in August. So
Yes.
that'll be really fun. And obviously seeing, my old coaches, my old teammates, and kind of showing them where I have moved to and what my life
Yes.
here will be really cool. And both of those programs are also very well read, well historied in terms of winning.
For sure.
Ohio State has a really rich culture of volleyball, so does Washington. And then we also traveled to Atlanta and played Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Similar story, always really competitive in the ACC. They give teams like Louisville, Florida State a run for their money every
Oh,
year. They're
wow.
kind of up in the
Okay.
top end of that conference, and I know they have a really special thing going there, so we're going to go see what their gym is all
Cool.
about and
Yeah.
hopefully pick up one of those really priceless road wins that
Absolutely.
just mean the world to your team in terms of momentum, and then when it does come to Selection Sunday, those
Yes.
RPI points are really important. And so playing teams
Absolutely.
like that, strength of schedule, even, looking from a mid-major to power four, if you can play more mid-majors that are winning their conferences, like, that's going to strengthen you both
Yes.
from a, like, physical and mindset standpoint, and then just looking to build a schedule that can take you to the tournament. Because I think that's really what's on all of our minds is, can we get back to the tournament? Can we make a Sweet 16? Can we build from
Yes.
there?
Yes.
And I think looking at a team like Texas A&M last year, who upset Nebraska at Nebraska and ended up
Yes.
winning the national championship, and then also watching our baseball team, is just like, why
Yes.
not us always? And I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, we have the personalities and the work ethics and the connections as teammates to do something really special this year. So
I
I'm
love it.
excited to kind of put that to the test and, like, show everybody what we've got, because we've been building it since everyone got here in January, and we're
Yes.
such a unique roster because we have so many transfers from so
Yes.
many different places and so many different backgrounds, and yet we came together and just clicked
That's cool.
instantly. Like,
I
this
love
is
it.
one of the most well-connected teams I think I've ever been a part of, going on
That's cool.
5 seasons now. That's saying something. So,
Absolutely it
um
is.
I think from top to bottom, we're just a well-oiled machine looking to undercut some big dogs. So we're excited. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned Georgia Tech on the road, and obviously we've had good luck on the road against Georgia
Hmm.
Tech in baseball just
Yeah.
a couple months ago. So
Yes.
hopefully that mojo will carry over for
Exactly.
sure. And I know you mentioned just all the things about the coaching and the team clicking, and I, again, I'm fairly new to following volleyball, so I'm not trying to act like I know it because I don't. But I just know that since Coach Mansfield has been here, it has elevated the program
Absolutely.
significantly. I know we made the postseason and did a pretty good run to some
Hmm.
degree with Lydia Martin that year. That
Yep.
would have been 2 years ago. And so I want to say Aaron's just been here for a few years, but I just know that since he's been here, that it has elevated the program. And like you
Hmm.
guys having all of this talent and everyone clicking so well, and you guys having such a good schedule and having that mindset and wanting to go into the postseason. I think that's great.
Hmm.
Obviously, to have that outlook and that hope, and I don't see why you guys can't do it, and I can't wait to cheer you on.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
I'm so excited, and yeah, like I said, I'm still very much learning about volleyball. I don't know the positions. I
That's
don't know
okay.
any of the details like I do other sports, but hopefully I will get there.
Yes. Yeah, no, and that's the coolest part about volleyball too, is it is such an intricate sport with
For sure.
rotations,
Yes.
positions, why is the libero wearing a different color jersey, like all of
Oh,
that stuff.
yes. Yes.
But volleyball is so fun because, like, even if you don't know any of that, it is such an explosive and dynamic
So
sport to
fun.
watch.
Yes.
And, like, your story of going to one game and falling in love with it, I've heard that a
Yes.
million times of,
Yep.
like, finally they got around to doing it. Finally they
Yep.
came and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'll never miss another match." And if it's on
Yes.
TV and turning it on. Like, it's so fun. And I know, having been in college for a while now and, like, watching the growth of the sport with things like Big Ten does a volleyball media day the same way that they
Yes.
do with football and
Oh, I
basketball.
love that.
And
Yes.
then the SEC started a conference tournament for volleyball when they originally just decided the champion based on
Oh, the
just record.
schedule. Okay.
Yeah, and so,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
it's
good.
little changes like that are reflective
Absolutely.
of statistics that are saying girls are choosing volleyball over basketball as their primary.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
that was pretty unheard of when I was younger, at least, and I
Yeah.
know it's become a really big deal that, to my knowledge, volleyball is the number one female youth sport in the United States now because it's
That's
just
cool.
booming and blowing up, and you have stuff like the Nebraska girls have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, and, like, you see that
Yes.
trickle down effect
Yes.
with different girls and different programs in different areas, and it's just so fun to watch it really become a nationwide thing. And, like, when
Absolutely.
you can strengthen one, you can strengthen all, and I think that's
For
really what's been
sure.
happening in our sport, and it's been really cool to be a part of. And, like, thinking
That's
about it
cool.
in terms of, like, when I have a daughter someday, like, I want her to be a part of something even better than what I was, and it's looking
Yes.
really, really going that direction. So playing stuff like the CC Big Ten Challenge, and, like, knowing we play our role in it, and then you also have teams like Nebraska and Kentucky that are going to play at Wrigley Field outside just because they can.
Yeah.
We're going
Oh
to
my
sell it out.
gosh.
Like, it's just so cool to be a part of kind of a movement in that direction, especially for something as close and personal as, like, my sport versus, I love women's sports as a whole, but, like, volleyball's home to me. So
Right. Yeah.
just watching that kind of stuff is really cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I actually know a couple of high school kids that play travel volleyball teams in the
Uh-huh.
Oklahoma City area. So I know that it is growing and I know
Yeah.
that it's gaining attention. And so that's all very promising. And like you said, you're going to leave it better than you found it. So it will be
Yeah.
better for future generations. And I just think that's super cool. And, again, like I said, I tell people it's okay if you don't know and you
Yeah.
don't understand
Yeah.
volleyball. It's still so addicting and so fun to watch. I spent a lot of time Googling on my phone.
Yeah, I love it.
I took my friend with me and she's wanting to learn about sports. And I said,
Mhm.
I don't know much about volleyball, but let's learn this together. And so we were over there Googling stuff on our
I
phones during
love
the
it.
game because we didn't know why there were different colored jerseys. And,
Yeah.
we didn't know what this position, we didn't know a lot of things. So we were Googling and that's okay.
Yep. Oh, it's
We
totally
we
fine.
are learning and yeah, and I watched several games on TV even when I couldn't go or you guys were on the road or whatever. And so just that exposure too, if you keep
Yeah.
exposing yourself, you're going to start picking up on it. And I did the same thing because I talk to every sport, all kinds of athletes. So I try to get out and support everybody. And it's hard, especially because I don't live in Norman. But I did the same thing. Whereas, okay, I found a volleyball game. I'm going to go to this volleyball game. Well, then I go to it and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. So I immediately was like, I need to find a second one that I can make it to. So I'm on the schedule, on the calendar, trying to figure it out. And so, yeah, just again, that exposure and you'll get addicted to it for sure because it's so much fun. I was actually looking at the volleyball schedule and the soccer schedule just this morning, and there is a day that you guys both play
Oh,
at
awesome.
home, and I don't know what the timing is. I think I know the soccer time and not the volleyball time.
Mhm.
I was checking the website. But anyway, I'm hoping that can work out because that's
Yeah.
perfect for someone like myself to
Yeah.
be able to come and knock two of them out in one day. But nevertheless, I think it's important for people to get out and support you guys. Just make it happen. Even if it is just one game or whatever, it's important. And I'm so excited to watch you guys this season. I'm excited to have this connection with you
Yes,
so I
I
can
love it.
root for you. I'll try not to be a crazy loud lady, but I will meet you definitely when I come. I'll let you know. And
Yes,
because I
please.
want to meet you for sure. But I'm so glad that you are in Oklahoma, and I'm even more glad that you're happy in Oklahoma. And I'm very
Mhm.
excited again for what the season holds for you. So I hope
Absolutely
the
love it.
last one is the best one for you.
Yes, it's looking to be that way, so I'm super excited.
Absolutely. Well, are there any other closing thoughts you want to share on anything before I let you go?
I don't think so. I think I kind of got it all in there. Yeah.